Before this story starts, pause for 1 second. Hit subscribe to Stories Untold, because this isn't just a story about cheating. It's a story about people who tried to erase a woman while her heart was still beating. And real quick, comment below, where are you watching from right now? City and country. I read the comments. Now listen closely, because if you skip even 1 minute, you'll miss the exact moment I realized my own husband wanted me dead. My name is Lauren Hart. I'm 29 years old, and according to the paperwork signed at 3:52 a.m. on a rainy Thursday in Charlotte, North Carolina, I died giving birth to my first child. But I didn't die. Not the way they told everyone. Not the way my husband needed the world to believe. I remember the smell first. That sharp hospital smell. Bleach, alcohol, wipes. The metallic tang of fear that lives in the back of your throat when you know something is wrong, but nobody's saying it out loud. I had been in labor for so long the hours stopped behaving like time. They turned into a blur of pain and shaking and nurses switching shifts, and every time a new nurse walked in, she'd glance at the monitor like she was reading a weather report. Okay, Lauren, let's breathe through this one. Like my body was just having a rough day. Like I wasn't splitting open. 18 hours. That's how long I was fighting to bring my baby into the world. 18 hours of thinking. This is what women do. This is what my mom did. This is what my grandmother did. You survive it, you earn your baby. But somewhere around hour 16, survival stopped feeling guaranteed. I knew it because the pain changed. It stopped being waves and started being something constant, like a heavy hand pressing down on my chest while another hand reached inside my belly and twisted. I looked around the room for my husband. Caleb Hart, 32 years old. Finance job. Perfect hair, perfect smile. The kind of man who could charm a waitress into giving him free dessert. The kind of man I used to believe would die for me. Caleb was standing in the corner of the delivery room. Not beside me, not holding my hand. In the corner, half turned away like he didn't want to be seen in the same frame as my pain. He was on his phone, thumb scrolling, blue light reflecting off his face. I stared at him through tears and sweat and said his name, trying to keep my voice from breaking. Caleb. He didn't look up. I'm here, he said, like I was annoying him, and then he laughed. A soft little breathy laugh. Like someone had texted him something funny. My stomach turned so hard it made my contractions spike. I gasped, can you come here? That got his attention. He finally looked at me, and the expression on his face wasn't fear. It wasn't concern, it was impatience. Like he was counting how long this inconvenience would last. Babe, he said, walking over just enough so he could pretend he was supportive if a nurse walked in, you're doing fine. They said this takes time. I tried to speak, but another contraction hit so violently that the room tilted. My fingers clawed at the sheets. I felt heat spreading underneath me. Not normal warmth. Not sweat. Something wet. Too wet. A nurse stepped closer and checked the pad beneath me. Her face changed. Not dramatically. Not with panic. But her eyes sharpened like she'd just seen a snake in the bed. Doctor, she said, pressing a button on the wall. I need you in here. Now. Another nurse rushed in. Then another. The room filled with movement and quiet urgency that felt louder than screaming. What's happening? I asked. But my voice sounded far away, like it belonged to another woman. The doctor checked me, then checked the monitor, then checked the blood. His mouth tightened. Lauren, you're bleeding more than I like, he said carefully, like he was choosing words that wouldn't set me off. But I wasn't stupid. I wasn't a child. I saw the way the nurses avoided my eyes. I saw the way the doctor's hands moved faster. I saw the way Caleb suddenly stopped looking bored. He stepped closer, not to comfort me, to get information. Is the baby okay? He asked the doctor. Not. Is my wife okay? Not. What do you need from me? Just, is the baby okay? The doctor didn't answer him. He barked orders at the nurses instead. Start another eye. Get blood ready. Call anesthesia. My vision blurred at the edges. I tasted metal. A nurse pressed an oxygen mask to my face. The world began to shrink into a tunnel. And the last clear sound I heard before everything dissolved into darkness was the doctor's voice, sharp as a blade. She's hemorrhaging. Move, move, move. Then a long, flat-toned scream from the monitor. And that should have been the end. That should have been my story. But it wasn't. Darkness isn't empty when you're not truly gone. Darkness has texture. Darkness has sound. At first it was muffled, like voices underwater. Then I realized I could feel things. Cold air, my skin exposed, the scrape of fabric. A sheet being pulled over my face. I tried to open my eyes. I couldn't. I tried to move a finger. Nothing. I tried to speak. My mouth wouldn't cooperate. My body was there, but it wasn't mine. I was locked inside myself, fully aware, fully terrified, and completely unable to prove it. I heard wheels. A gurney rolling over tile. The squeak that hospitals always have. Someone humming quietly off-key. Not a nurse, not a doctor, a different voice. A man. Older, casual. Like this was routine. Then a door opened with a thick, heavy sound. The air changed, colder, sharper, and even without sight, my brain screamed the word I didn't want to admit. Morgue. No. No, 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 no. I tried to fight my way out of my own body. I tried to jerk upright. I tried to kick. I tried to bite my tongue hard enough to draw blood so someone would notice. Nothing. I was a prisoner in a corpse they thought was finished. A click. Metal under my back. A drawer sliding, a table. The sheet moved again. Hands touched my wrist. Hold up, the man muttered. What the sign? Then the words that saved me and ruined everything at the same time. I think I feel a pulse. A pause. Then louder, urgent now. Hey, hey, get someone. I think she's alive, footsteps pounded. A door slammed open, voices overlapped. And even though I couldn't open my eye, beeping. A mask pressed to my face again. A needle pressure in my arm, and then a doctor's voice, calmer than the chaos around him. Lauren, if you can hear me, you're in the ICU. You're alive. You're stable now. Stable, alive. If you can hear me. My mind grabbed those words and held them like a rope. Yes, I wanted to scream. Yes, I can hear you. But nothing came out. Hours passed. Or maybe minutes. Time became a broken thing. And then I heard Caleb, not by my bed, in the hallway outside my room. His voice was crisp, controlled. Like he was speaking to customer service. So what's the situation, he asked. The doctor replied, different from the one in delivery. This is a rare condition. Your wife is in a deep coma, but her brain activity suggests possible awareness. It's sometimes called a locked-in presentation. She may be able to hear and process speech even if she can't respond. There was a pause. The kind where you expect a husband to fall apart, where you expect, please save her, please do anything. Caleb didn't say that. He said, what are the odds she wakes up? The doctor hesitated. Low, maybe 5%, Caleb exhaled. Not a sob, not a gasp. An exhale that sounded almost relieved. Okay, he said. Thanks. Then he walked away, footsteps fading. And that's when I heard her, the woman who had hated me since the day Caleb introduced me at Thanksgiving, my mother-in-law. Donna's heels clicked sharply on the floor as she approached the doctor. So, she said, voice smooth like cold butter. She's basically a vegetable. The doctor stiffened. Ma'am, we don't use that term. Donna didn't care. How long does the hospital keep her on machines, she asked. What's the timeline? The doctor sounded uncomfortable. It depends. We monitor progress. Families typically reassess after a period, often around 30 days if there's no improvement. 30, Donna repeated like she was committing it to a calendar. Perfect, perfect. I tried to scream again. My heart rate spiked. At least I think it did, because the monitor beeped faster. But no one reacted like it meant anything. Donna's voice lowered. And the baby? The doctor replied, your granddaughter is stable. Donna's tone softened for the first time, but it wasn't tenderness. It was possession. Good, she said. That's the only thing that matters. Then she left. And I lay there, awake in a body that couldn't blink on command, listening to the machines keep me alive while my husband and his mother sounded like they were discussing a broken appliance. That would have been enough to break me. But it got worse, because later that night, someone made a small mistake. A nurse came in to check my IG. She had a little device clipped to her scrubs. One of those hands-free call things. She fiddled with it, then sighed. Stupid thing, she muttered and walked out. She forgot to turn it off, which meant I could hear everything it picked up. Hallway voices, nurses at the station, doctors walking past. And at first it was harmless, routine. Room 12 needs labs. Room 9 is asking for ice chips again. Then I heard Caleb's voice again. Close, very close. He was right outside my door, and with him was Donna, and a third voice, a woman's voice, soft, careful, too familiar. It took my brain a second to place it, because I'd spent months trying not to believe what my gut already knew. Her name was Sienna Brooks, Caleb's assistant. The woman he swore was like a sister. The woman who used to text him at midnight and claim it was about work. My skin went cold beneath the hospital blanket. Donna spoke first. "This is actually the best thing that could have happened," she said. I thought I misheard. Best. Caleb sounded uneasy but not horrified. "Mom," he said, "she almost died." Donna scoffed. "She did die," Donna corrected. In everyone's eyes, they pronounced her. "The paperwork exists. That's a gift." Sienna didn't speak yet, but I could hear her breathing. Like she was standing close. Like she was right there leaning in to listen. Caleb lowered his voice. "The doctor said she might still be aware." Donna's laugh was quiet, sharp. "And what's she going to do about it?" Donna asked. "Sit up and accuse you? She can't even blink on command." Caleb hesitated. "So what are you saying?" Donna said it like she'd planned it for months. "I'm saying we stop pretending," she replied. "We ride this out. 30 days. If she doesn't wake up, and she won't, we make the responsible decision." I tried to move. I tried to force my hand to twitch. Nothing. Sienna finally spoke. Her voice was honey over knives. "Caleb," she whispered, "I'm so sorry. This is tragic. She didn't sound sad. She sounded like she was trying on the word, seeing if it fit. Donna continued, voice practical. "You'll be a grieving husband," she said. "A devoted father. The community will rally around you. The insurance will pay out. And no one will question why you move on." I heard a small sound, a soft inhale. Then Sienna again, quieter. "I would never want to replace her," she said, and even without seeing her, I could hear the lie curve in her mouth. "But the baby needs stability. A mother figure," Donna hummed in approval. "Exactly," she said. "A baby needs a family. And Lauren's family? They live in Oregon. They're nowhere. We control this. My parents, my mom and dad. Back in Eugene, thinking Caleb loved me, thinking they'd be invited, informed, included." Caleb's voice tightened. "What about them? They'll want to come." Donna's answer was immediate. "They don't need to," she said. "We tell them she passed. We tell them it was peaceful. We offer a closed casket, cremation, something private. They'll grieve from far away." Sienna added softly, "It'll be easier for everyone." Easy. That was the word that cracked something open inside me. Because suddenly I understood. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't just a husband failing under pressure. This was a plan forming in real time around my hospital bed. They weren't waiting to see if I survived. They were waiting to see if they could legally finish the job. My heart monitor sped up again. And still, nobody came rushing in to ask why. Because on the outside I looked like nothing. Just a woman in a coma. Just a body. Donna's heels clicked as she stepped away. "Let's go," she said. "We have things to prepare." Caleb followed, but Sienna paused for a second. I know she did, because her voice came closer to my door. Almost like she was peeking in. Almost like she was looking at the woman she was replacing. Then she whispered, so softly I almost missed it, "Sleep tight, Lauren." And then her footsteps retreated, light and confident, like she owned the hallway. I lay there, trapped, hearing everything, and for the first time in my life, I understood the pure terror of being conscious while people decide your fate. The next day, I learned my baby had been born alive. I learned it from the nurses. 2 nurses came into my room, thinking I couldn't understand a word. One of them checked my chart and smiled sadly. "Her little girl is beautiful," she murmured. The other nurse sighed. "Poor baby," she said, "born into a mess." The first nurse lowered her voice. "Grandma already named her." I felt my mind snap to attention. "Named her? No way," the second nurse whispered. "The mother didn't name her." The first nurse shook her head. "No. The grandmother said the mother's choice was too sentimental. She changed it." My chest tightened so hard it felt like suffocating. I had chosen a name. I'd whispered it to my belly for months. I'd written it on little sticky notes and stuck them to the nursery wall. Caleb had agreed, at least to my face. It was our secret promise. And now Donna had erased it like it was nothing. The second nurse said, "What name did she pick?" The first nurse replied, Paige, a name I'd never even considered, a name that felt like a replacement. A clean, simple name that didn't carry my voice at all. I tried to cry. But even tears were unpredictable in this prison. Sometimes they came, sometimes they didn't. When they did, nurses wiped them away like it was just a reflex. That afternoon, I heard my father's voice, faint, distorted through a phone speaker somewhere down the hall. He was calling the hospital. Begging. "I'm Lauren Hart's father," he said. "I need to see my daughter. Please, please, I'm flying in." The receptionist sounded apologetic. "I'm sorry, sir. You're not on the approved visitor list." Approved visitor list. Like I was a celebrity, not a daughter. My father's voice cracked. "I don't understand," he said. "That's my child." "I understand," the receptionist replied. "But I have strict instructions from Mr. Hart and Mrs. Hart." Mr. Hart, Mrs. Hart, my husband and my mother-in-law. They controlled who saw me. They controlled who knew I was still here. My father raised his voice. "So you're telling me my daughter is in the ICU and I can't even look at her?" The receptionist said, "I'm sorry, sir." My father's words became a blur after that. Anger, disbelief, grief. Then the line went dead. And an hour later, Donna arrived outside my room. I couldn't see her, but I knew it was her. Her perfume always hit first. Expensive floral, too strong. She stood in the hallway and made a phone call, and I heard every word. "George," Donna said, voice dripping with false sorrow. "I'm so sorry. Lauren didn't make it." My entire mind screamed. "No," Donna continued. "We'll call you with details." Then she ended the call. My father, my mother, they were going to mourn me while I was still breathing, while my baby was alive, while my husband was already clearing space for another woman. That night, I heard something that made me realize the cruelty had no bottom. A nurse came in to adjust my meds, and another nurse whispered in the doorway. "You heard?" she asked. "He moved her into the house." The first nurse whispered back. The second nurse's voice sharpened. Already, the first nurse confirmed. "The girlfriend, Sienna. She's staying there to help with the baby." My heart monitor jumped. The nurse glanced at it, then at me. For a second, just a second, I thought she suspected, that she could see the rage behind my still eyelids. But then she looked away and kept working. The second nurse whispered, "That's sick." The first nurse replied, "Donna's throwing some kind of party this weekend. Like a welcome home baby thing. A party." While I lay here, while my parents were being told I was dead, while my body was a silent witness to my own replacement, and inside my locked-in cage, one thought kept repeating like a drum. 30 days. Donna said 30 days. They were counting down. And I didn't know how to stop them, because I still couldn't move, still couldn't speak, still couldn't open my eyes on purpose. All I could do was listen, and wait, and pray that my body would remember how to fight before day 30 arrived. Because if it didn't, I wasn't going to die. I was going to be killed. And the world would clap for my husband as he played the grieving widower. Before next part, type in the comments, where are you watching from right now? City plus country? Because what happens next, I still can't believe happened in my own life. And if you haven't subscribed to Stories Untold yet, do it now. The moment the hunters realize their dead prey is listening. Now back to me. Back to the ICU. Back to the bed where my body lay like an empty shell while my mind ran in circles, slamming into invisible walls. Day 8. That's when the rules started. Not hospital rules, Donna's rules. I didn't see a clipboard, but I heard the way nurses' voices changed when my mother-in-law appeared in the hallway. Lower, careful, as if speaking too loudly might trigger a lawsuit. Donna became a second head nurse, except she didn't care about healing. She cared about control. I learned that the hard way when a young nurse came into my room one morning, humming softly, and said to my unconscious face, "Good news, Lauren. Your dad called again. He's really persistent." My mind surged with hope so sudden it felt like pain. "Dad, he's coming. He knows I'm alive." But then the nurse's expression shifted as she read something in the chart. Her smile faded. "Wait, what?" she whispered. She stepped back into the hallway, and through that stupid hands-free device that was still accidentally paired to my room, I heard her ask the charge nurse, "Why is her father blocked?" "He's family." The charge nurse answered in the voice people use when they've already been told not to argue. "Mrs. Hart's orders," she said. "And Mr. Hart signed off." "Mr. Hart?" Caleb signed off. The nurse sounded upset. "But Drop it, the charge nurse cut in. Donna's already threatened to speak to administration, and we can't prove the patient can consent to anything right now. Consent. That word echoed inside my skull like a cruel joke. Because if I could have consented, I would have screamed the truth until my throat bled. I would have told them Donna was lying. I would have told them Caleb wasn't grieving. He was calculating. By day 9, my room became a museum of my absence. There were flowers, too many, arranged perfectly like a staged apology. There were cards from coworkers and neighbors that said things like "stay strong," and miracles happen. Donna placed them where the nurses could see them, as if to prove she was a loving mother-in-law. As if the scent of lilies could mask the smell of betrayal. But what Donna couldn't control was the way nurses talk. They talk in hallways. They talk at coffee machines. They talk right outside doors when they think no one inside can hear. That's how I learned about my baby, not from Caleb B. Not from Donna. From a tired nurse with a kind voice who walked in late one night, checked my lines, and whispered, "Your little girl has your chin." My entire mind grabbed onto those words. My little girl alive. Then the nurse added something that made my throat tighten with helpless fury. "Donna filed the paperwork already," she murmured. "The birth certificate draft. She listed the baby's name as Paige. She said it like she disagreed but didn't have power. Your husband didn't even argue," she added, and her voice sounded disgusted. My husband didn't argue. Of course he didn't. Because arguing would mean acknowledging I mattered. And I wasn't a person to Caleb anymore. I was an obstacle with a heartbeat. Day 10 brought a different kind of torture. The social worker assigned to my case, Miss Klein, visited my room for the first time. She stood at the foot of my bed and spoke gently, professionally, the way you speak to someone you assume is unaware. "Lauren," she said, "I'm here to make sure your wishes are respected, my wishes." I wanted to laugh and sob at the same time. She continued, "Your husband and your mother-in-law have expressed concerns about visitor disruptions. They want to keep your environment calm. Visitor disruptions." That was what my parents had become in Donna's story. Disruptions. Ms. Klein sighed. "I'm required to ask, do you have an advance directive? A living will? Anything that states your preferences?" I wanted to answer. I wanted to tell her about the folder in my desk at home. About the paperwork I'd started filling out when my pregnancy made me suddenly aware of mortality. I wanted to tell her I'd written down names. My parents. My best friend. People I trusted. Not Caleb. Not Donna. But my mouth stayed slack. My eyes stayed shut. My body stayed silent. Miss Klein looked at me for a long moment. Then she said, softer, "Okay. I'll check the records." When she left, Donna arrived. And Donna didn't speak to me like a person. Donna spoke to me like a house she was about to renovate. "You're very lucky," she said, standing close enough that her perfume seeped into my pillow. "Lucky we're such good people, good people." I listened, rage fizzing in my veins like acid. Donna continued, "Caleb is exhausted, he's barely sleeping. And that baby needs a mother who can stand up." She leaned closer. "I know you can hear me sometimes," she whispered, and my entire mind froze. Could she tell? Was she guessing? Or was she just cruel enough to say it for pleasure? "If you can," Donna added, voice slow and steady, "then you'll understand this is how it has to be." A pause. Then the words that still haunt me. "You should have married someone else." Then she walked out, heels clicking like punctuation. Day 12 was the first time I heard Sienna's laugh in my home. Not in person, through nurses. 2 of them talked while checking my vitals. "Did you see her Instagram?" one whispered. The other replied, "The assistant." "Yeah, she's posting like she's the mom." My heart rate climbed again. My home, my baby, my husband's mistress. The nurse said, "She posted a story from Lauren's kitchen. Same white cabinets, same gold handles. She didn't even try to hide it." The other nurse sounded appalled. "How are people not noticing?" The first nurse answered, "Because Donna's controlling the narrative. She's telling everyone Lauren passed. Or that she's gone. She uses vague words so people assume gone. That's what they were making me. Not dead, not alive. Just gone. A missing woman in her own life." That evening I learned something even worse. Donna wasn't just lying to my parents. She was baiting them. A nurse brought in my chart and muttered to another nurse, "Can you believe this? Donna gave the family the wrong visiting hours again. The other nurse asked, "On purpose?" The first nurse nodded. "I think so. They flew in from Oregon and she's playing games." My mind screamed, "Mom, Dad, you're here. You're close. I'm right here," but I couldn't reach them, and Donna made sure they couldn't reach me. I heard it happen the next day. Not with my eyes. With my ears. There was shouting in the hallway. My father's voice, thick with grief and fury. "I want to see my daughter," he yelled. The security guard replied, "Sir, you need to step back." My mother's voice, broken. "Please," she begged. "Please, I just want to hold her hand." Then Donna's voice slid in like a knife. "George," she said loudly, performing sorrow for the crowd, "this is not the place." My father snapped. "Don't you tell me what place it is. Where is she? Why won't you let us?" Donna lowered her voice, but the device still picked it up. "Because you'll cause a scene," she said. "And the baby is sleeping. The baby." Donna used my daughter like a shield. My mother sobbed. "We're her grandparents. Where is the baby?" Donna's answer was poison wrapped in velvet. "The baby is with family," she said, "where she belongs." Then, louder again for witnesses. "Security, please escort them out. They're upsetting the unit." And just like that, my parents were removed from the hallway outside my room. They were dragged away from the place I lay alive. I heard my father's footsteps scraping as he fought, and the sound of my mother crying faded down the hall until it disappeared. When silence returned, it was the kind that makes you feel buried. That night, my tears finally came, hot and unstoppable. A nurse wiped them gently and whispered, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Day 14. That was when I started to understand Donna wasn't improvising. She was following a schedule. Because day 14 was when she met an insurance agent. I didn't see it, but I heard a nurse describe it in a tone so shocked, it sounded like disbelief was fighting reality. I was grabbing coffee in the cafeteria, the nurse said to someone at the desk. And Donna Hart was sitting with a man in a suit. She had papers everywhere. I heard her say policy payout, like she was discussing a mortgage. The other person asked, "While Lauren's still alive?" The nurse replied, "Yup." And she asked, "How soon after life support is withdrawn can we finalize?" Withdrawn, not if. When Donna didn't say it, the reply came from the other staffer. Quieter. "Did you report it?" The nurse hesitated. "Report what?" "Being disgusting. You can't file a complaint for being evil." That's when I realized something brutal. There are so many things you can do to someone that are not technically illegal until the final line is crossed. Donna was living in that gray area, camping there, building a house there. Day 15 brought the party. The welcome home baby party Donna had planned like a coronation. I didn't hear the party directly at first, but I heard the preparation. Sienna called the hospital that morning, and a nurse answered while standing near my door. Sienna's voice came through the speaker, bright and sweet. "Hi," she chirped. "This is Sienna Brooks. I'm just calling to check on Lauren's status." Lauren's status, as if she was a subscription. The nurse replied carefully, "She's unchanged." Sienna exhaled dramatically. "Oh no," she said, and the fake sadness was so thick it made me want to vomit. "That's heartbreaking." Then she added, "Caleb is doing his best. We're just trying to keep things stable for the baby." "We," she said, "we." Like she lived in my life now, like she'd earned it. That afternoon, Donna arrived at the hospital with a garment bag. I heard the rustle, the zipper, the soft swish of expensive fabric. She spoke to someone. Maybe a nurse. Maybe she didn't care who listened. "This was Lauren's robe," she said, "but it's wasted here. I'm taking it home for practical reasons." Practical reasons, my robe. The one I bought for postpartum. The one I imagined wearing while nursing my baby, hair messy, cheeks full of happiness. Donna stole it like she was looting a house after a storm. Then, before leaving, Donna stepped into my room. She stood beside my bed and spoke softly, like she was confessing. "Tonight," she said, "people will finally stop asking questions." A pause. "Tonight Caleb will look happy again," she continued. "And you won't ruin it." Then she leaned in close enough that her breath warmed my ear. "You should be grateful," she whispered. "Some women would kill to be remembered. You'll be forgotten." She walked out. And for the first time I felt something besides fear and grief. I felt a cold, clean kind of fury. The kind that doesn't scream, the kind that sharpens. That night the nurses became my eyes. One of them, her name tag said Mia, came in for meds and muttered to herself, I can't stand them. Another nurse followed her in, shaking her head. They're posting photos, she whispered. Like smiling photos. Mia's hands stilled. With the baby, yes, the other nurse said. And Sienna's in them, holding the baby like she's the mom. Donna's right beside her. Mia's voice turned hard. And Caleb, the nurse replied, he's smiling, like nothing happened. Like nothing happened. As if my hemorrhage was just a weather event that passed. As if my body didn't almost collapse into death. As if my soul wasn't trapped, listening. Then I heard something that made my chest ache so hard I thought the monitor would scream. The other nurse said, they used Lauren's nursery, they redecorated, they took down her pictures. Mia whispered, that fast? Yeah, the nurse replied. They replaced everything like they were waiting, that word again, waiting for me to disappear. By day 16, the page name became official in the hospital system. A nurse typed it into my chart while sighing. Baby Heart Page, she read aloud, then muttered, this is wrong. I wanted to tell her my name choice. Evelyn, that was the name. Evelyn Rose, my grandmother's name. A name I thought would connect generations. But now my baby was Paige, and I was gone. And Sienna was helping, and Donna was family. And Caleb was exhausted, and my parents were disruptions. A perfect little story. A story they wrote over my silence. Day 17 brought a moment I didn't expect. A doctor I hadn't heard before, Dr. Harris, stood outside my room with Caleb. His voice was serious. Mr. Hart, he said, we need to discuss something from the delivery records. Caleb replied, impatient, can it wait? Dr. Harris didn't budge. No, he said, it can't. Something in that word, can't, made my mind sit up inside my skull like a person waking from a nightmare. Caleb tried again. I'm busy. My mother, this is about your child, Dr. Harris cut in. Caleb went quiet. Then, okay? Dr. Harris spoke carefully, like he was stepping on glass. During the emergency, there were complications with documentation, he said. The delivery was chaotic, but the final audit was completed. Caleb's voice was sharp. Speak English. Dr. Harris inhaled. Your wife delivered more than one infant, he said. The hallway went silent. Even the nurses at the station seemed to pause. Caleb laughed. One short burst. What? He said, like the doctor told a joke. Dr. Harris repeated it firmer. Lauren Hart delivered twins, he said. 2 girls. My entire mind exploded. Twins. No, that wasn't possible. I would have known. Wouldn't I have known? But then my memory flashed, blurry, broken, of a doctor shouting of pressure, of chaos, of time disappearing. The darkness had eaten the details. Caleb's voice dropped into a whisper. That's not, no, we have 1 baby. Dr. Harris replied. 1 baby was discharged to family care. The second has been in the NICU. I couldn't breathe. My baby, my other baby. A second child I hadn't held, hadn't named, hadn't even known existed. Caleb didn't sound joyful, he sounded threatened. How many people know? He asked. Dr. Harris hesitated. The NICU team, record staff, a few nurses. Caleb cut him off. Stop. Don't tell anyone else. Do you understand me? Dr. Harris's voice chilled. Mr. Hart, this is a child. Your child. Caleb snapped. I said, don't tell anyone. Then Donna appeared like she'd been summoned by the smell of new information. What's happening? She demanded. Caleb spoke fast, low. Not here. But Dr. Harris said it anyway. There was a second baby, he stated. A twin. She's been in the NICU. Donna's silence was frightening. Then she said very calmly, where? Dr. Harris answered. NICU, 3rd floor. Donna turned to Caleb, and her voice when she spoke sounded like steel being pulled from a sheath. This changes everything, she said. Caleb stammered, Mom, I didn't know. Donna didn't care. She wasn't angry that I'd been in danger. She was angry that her plan had a complication. Because now the story she was telling the world, devoted grieving husband, 1 baby, clean replacement mother, had a loose end, a living loose end. They walked away from my door, but the hands-free device still carried their voices. They didn't know I could hear. Or maybe they'd stopped caring. Donna hissed, How could you not know there were 2? Caleb replied, everything happened fast. Donna snapped, no, you were distracted. That's what happened. Then Sienna's voice slid in, soft, cautious. What's going on? She asked. Caleb whispered, there's another baby. Sienna gasped, another baby? Donna spoke like she was solving a problem on a whiteboard. "We can't have another baby," she said. Caleb replied, It's my daughter." Donna shot back, "It's evidence, evidence." That's what my child became to them. A piece of evidence that could expose the lie. Sienna's voice shook, but not from sadness, from fear. "What do we do?" she asked. Donna answered without hesitation. "We make sure the second baby disappears," she said. Caleb breathed. "What?" Donna continued, crisp and practical. "One baby is a tragedy," she said. "One baby is sympathy. One baby is manageable." She lowered her voice. "Two babies is questions," she said. "Two babies is paperwork. Two babies is people digging." Caleb sounded weak. "We can't just—" Donna cut him off. "Yes, we can." There was a pause. Then Donna said the sentence that made the monitor beside my bed go wild. "I know a couple in Atlanta," she said. "They've been desperate for a baby. They'll pay. No trail. No drama. Pay." My mind went white. She was talking about selling my child. Caleb whispered, "That's trafficking," Donna replied. "It's adoption," she said smoothly. "Private, discreet, and necessary." Sienna added, voice small, "Maybe it's for the best. The baby will have a stable home. Stable." She used my baby like a talking point, like a prop. My heart hammered so hard the machine screamed in alarm. A nurse rushed in. "Whoa, what's happening?" she said, checking the monitor. Another nurse followed, then another. They adjusted my meds, checked my IZ, pressed buttons, tried to calm the numbers. And through it all, I was screaming inside my skull. "They're going to take my baby. They're going to sell my baby. Please, please, someone hear me." Mia came in last. She stared at my face like she was trying to see through my skin. Then she whispered, barely audible, "Lauren, can you hear me?" I pushed everything I had toward my fingers. Everything. All the rage, all the fear, all the love for a baby I didn't even know existed until seconds ago. I begged my body, "Move, just once. Give me something." Mia leaned closer. "If you can hear me," she said softly. "I need a sign." Her hand wrapped gently around mine. Warm, human, real. She squeezed my fingers once, then twice, and she whispered, "Squeeze back. Just a little." I tried so hard I thought my bones would crack. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a tiny twitch. So small it could have been a reflex. But Mia froze, her eyes widened. And she whispered the words that made my trapped soul ignite with hope. Oh my God, that wasn't the monitor. She squeezed my hand again. "Do it again," she pleaded. "Lauren, please, do it again." I focused on one finger. One, just one. And I felt it. Second twitch, stronger. Real. Mia's breath hitched. She looked toward the door like she was about to run. Then she leaned down and whispered, urgent now. "Don't worry, I heard them too." A pause. "And I'm not letting them take your baby." Next part is the night my finger finally moves on command, and the people who planned my death walk into my room smiling, until they see my eyes open. Before we jump in, comment right now. Where are you watching from? City and country. And if you're new here, subscribe to Stories Untold. Because next part is the moment they walk in to finish me, and walk out in handcuffs. Now listen, because this is the night my body stopped being a prison, and became a weapon. Mia didn't waste a second after she felt my finger move. She didn't run down the hall like in movies, panicked, dramatic, shouting for doctors. No, Mia did something smarter. She looked at my face like she was memorizing it, like she was making a promise she intended to keep. Then she leaned close and spoke in a whisper so soft, it felt like it came from inside my skull. "Lauren," she said, "I believe you're in there." Her hand tightened around mine again. "If you can hear me, squeeze once for yes." I poured everything I had into my hand. A tiny squeeze, barely there, but it was real. Mia sucked in a breath, eyes shining. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay, I'm going to ask you questions. You squeeze once for yes, twice for no. If you can't answer, don't force it. Just breathe. Breathe." I wanted to laugh at the irony. My body did the breathing part fine. It just refused everything else. Mia took a shaky breath and began. "Is your husband trying to keep your family away?" One squeeze. "Is Donna lying about you being dead?" One squeeze. Mia's jaw clenched. "Did you hear them talk about the second baby?" My entire mind screamed yes. My finger squeezed. Harder this time. Mia nodded like she'd expected it. "Did you hear them say they want to get rid of her?" One squeeze. Mia blinked rapidly. Did you hear them mention money? One squeeze? Mia's face went pale. Then she did something that changed everything. She pulled her phone from her pocket, held it low where the room camera wouldn't see, and turned on voice recording. "I'm not supposed to do this," she whispered, "but I'm not letting your baby disappear." She leaned in even closer. "Lauren," she said, "I need one more question." She swallowed. "Are you afraid they're going to end your life support when the time comes?" My finger squeezed so hard it almost felt like a full movement. Mia's eyes filled. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay. I'm going to get help. Real help. And I'm going to do it the right way so they can't bury it." Then she smoothed my blanket like she was just finishing a routine check. Normal, calm, professional. And as she walked out, she turned back once and mouthed words I couldn't hear but somehow understood anyway. "Hold on." After she left, I lay there with my heart racing. Because hope is a dangerous thing when you've been helpless for days. Hope makes you imagine your parents bursting through the door, holding my baby, crying because I'm alive. Hope makes you imagine Donna exposed, Caleb ruined, Sienna shamed. Hope also makes you terrified. Because what if Mia got in trouble? What if she was wrong? What if Donna had more power than one nurse with a conscience? What if the countdown reached day 30 before my body woke up? That night Mia kept her promise. But not in the way I expected. Instead of going to a doctor first, she went to the charge nurse, an older woman named Denise, who had the kind of voice that made people listen. I couldn't see them, but the hands-free device still picked up hallway audio. Mia spoke fast and controlled. "Denise, something's off in room 14, she said. Her vitals spike specifically when her husband and mother-in-law are nearby. And Denise, I got a response, a deliberate response. Denise didn't dismiss her. "What kind?" she asked sharply. "Finger squeeze," Mia answered, on command to pause. Then Denise's tone shifted into something colder. "Are you sure?" she asked. "Yes," Mia said, "and I overheard them talking about a second baby. And money. Like, money for the baby." Denise went quiet for a beat. Then she said, "Okay, stop talking in the hall. Come with me." Footsteps, doors, muffled voices. And for the first time since labor, I felt something like momentum moving in my direction. The next morning, day 18, Miss Klein, the social worker, came back. But she didn't come alone. Two people entered my room, Ms. Klein and Dr. Harris. They stood by my bed, and for a moment, nobody spoke. Then Dr. Harris said, gently but clearly, "Lauren, if you can hear me, we're going to do a few simple checks. Nothing painful, just to see if you can respond." Ms. Klein leaned in. "And Lauren," she added softly, "if you can respond, it can change who makes decisions for you." Who makes decisions? That sentence hit like sunlight. I couldn't speak. But if I could prove awareness, Donna's 30-day plan could collapse. Dr. Harris continued, "Lauren, blink once if you can hear me." Blinking wasn't fully under my control yet, but I tried. I tried so hard my whole face felt like it was straining against invisible tape. Nothing. Mia, standing behind them, caught my eye, my closed eye, and whispered, "Try your finger. That's okay." Dr. Harris adjusted. "Lauren, squeeze my hand if you can hear me." His fingers wrapped around mine. I focused on one finger again, one squeeze. Tiny, but there. Dr. Harris froze. Miss Klein sucked in a breath. Mia's eyes filled with relief. Dr. Harris tried again carefully. "Lauren, squeeze again." I did, stronger. And in that moment, the room changed. No longer a room full of people discussing a coma patient. It became a room full of people realizing the patient was present. Miss Klein recovered first. "Lauren," she said, voice firmer now, "I'm going to ask yes or no questions. Squeeze once for yes, twice for no." Then she asked the question that made my whole soul shake. "Do you feel safe with your husband making medical decisions for you?" I squeezed twice. "No." Silence swallowed the room. Dr. Harris's voice went tight. "Okay," he said. "That's significant." Miss Klein didn't waste time. "Lauren," she continued, "do you want your parents notified immediately?" One squeeze. "Yes." Mia let out a choked sound. Dr. Harris looked at Ms. Klein. "We need to document this," he said. "Now." Ms. Klein nodded. "And we need to review the visitor restrictions," she replied. "If she's demonstrating awareness, that changes consent and access." I wanted to cry, but more than tears, I wanted action. I wanted my babies, both of them. Dr. Harris asked, "Lauren, are you aware you delivered twins?" My fingers squeezed so hard. It was almost a jerk. Yes, Miss Klein turned pale. Dr. Harris glanced at Mia, then at the chart. "The husband has been acting like there's only one baby," he said quietly. Mia's voice came sharp. "Because they planned it that way," she said. Then Miss Klein asked the question I needed someone to ask. "Lauren," she said, "did you hear anyone talk about taking your second baby away?" My fingers squeezed. Yes. Miss Klein's face hardened. "Okay," she said. "Then we're escalating this. They left my room with purpose, not sympathy. Purpose." That afternoon, my father's voice returned to the hallway. But this time it wasn't blocked. It wasn't pushed away. It was guided. I heard rapid footsteps, a door opening, and then, "Lauren," my dad's voice. George shook like it was barely holding together. My mom came in behind him, and the sound she made wasn't a word. It was grief turning into disbelief. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Oh my God, that's my baby." They rushed to my bedside, hands touching my hair, my cheek, my arm, like they needed proof I wasn't smoke. Dad's voice broke. "They told us you were gone," he whispered. They told us you died." My heart hammered. I couldn't say I know. But I squeezed his hand once, yes. Tears spilled down my temples into my hair. Mom sobbed, pressing her forehead to my wrist. "I'm here," she kept whispering. "I'm here. I'm not leaving." For the first time since labor, I believed her. Because Donna wasn't the gatekeeper anymore. Day 19, my parents learned about Paige. They also learned Paige wasn't the only baby. Miss Klein explained it to them in the family room, and even without seeing their faces, I heard the shock in my father's voice. "Twins," he repeated. "There were two." Miss Klein answered yes. "One baby remained in the NICU for monitoring. She's stable now." My mother's voice trembled. "And Caleb never told us." Silence. Because the answer was obvious. He didn't tell them because the truth interfered with the story he was selling. That evening, Dr. Harris brought in a NICU nurse. The nurse spoke softly. "Baby B is doing well," she said. "She's gaining weight. She just needed extra support at the start." Baby B, my chest ached. A whole child, my child, had existed for weeks while I lay listening to my replacement being installed in my house. I squeezed Dr. Harris's hand and tried to force my mouth to work. Air pushed through my throat. A sound came out, thin, broken, like a match struggling to light. "Name," I rasped. Dr. Harris leaned in. "Lauren, are you trying to say you want to name her?" I blinked, an involuntary flutter, but it felt like yes. I forced the sound again. "Evel," my mother gasped. "Evelyn," she whispered. Tears ran into my ears. I managed the smallest nod my body could produce. Barely a shift, but enough. My mother pressed her hand to her mouth. "We'll make it official," she said fiercely. "We'll make it right." Day 20 was the first time Donna tried to push back. She arrived in the hallway like she always did. Heel sharp, perfume loud, voice already prepared for battle. I heard her before she entered. "What do you mean I can't go in?" she snapped. A security guard replied calm. "Ma'am, you need to wait." Donna's voice rose. "That's my son's wife. That's my son's wife." "I have every right." Ms. Klein cut in, voice controlled. "Mrs. Hart," she said, "the patient has demonstrated awareness and expressed that she does not feel safe with medical decisions being made by her husband." Donna laughed, a harsh, disbelieving sound. "She's brain dead," Donna snapped. "This is ridiculous," Dr. Harris replied. "Colder now?" "She is not brain dead," he said, and she responded on command. Donna's tone sharpened into danger. "Who said that?" she demanded. "Which nurse?" Denise, the charge nurse, stepped in. "Our staff observed it," she said. "Multiple witnesses." Donna's breathing went tight. "Fine," she said. "Then Caleb will handle it." Caleb arrived 20 minutes later. His footsteps were heavier than Donna's, less polished. He walked in like he still believed the hospital was his property. When he reached my door, he tried to enter. Security stopped him. Caleb's voice snapped. "What is this?" he demanded. "I'm her husband." Miss Klein answered, "Mr. Hart." At this time, visitation and decision-making are being reviewed due to patient response and safety concerns. Caleb's tone turned sweet, fake sweet. "Come on," he said. "This is my wife. This is my family. Let me see her." Then he added, quieter, as if the hallway couldn't hear, "I just want to say goodbye if it goes that way. Goodbye." He said it like he wanted the option. My father, standing near my bed, stepped into the doorway. "You'll say goodbye when she tells you to," Dad said, voice steady and full of something I'd never heard from him before. Caleb went still. "Who are you?" he asked, as if my father was a stranger. Dad replied, "I'm her father, the one you tried to erase." Caleb's voice tightened. "Sir, this isn't." Dad cut him off. "It is," he said. "It's exactly what it is." Caleb's mask slipped for half a second. Then he looked past my dad into the room. I was still mostly immobile, but my eyes could open now. Not fully, not wide, but enough. And when Caleb saw that faint sliver of gaze, his voice caught. "Lauren," he said, like he couldn't decide whether to sound relieved or afraid. My eyes locked on his, and I watched him realize something terrible. I was not gone. I was not a story. I was not a convenient tragedy. I was a witness. Caleb tried to step forward. Security blocked him again. "Lauren," he said quickly. "Babe, this is a swallowed. I'm so sorry, sorry." It sounded like a word he'd practiced in the mirror. Not a confession, not a breakdown, a performance. I wanted to spit in his face, but my mouth could barely form sounds. So I did the only thing I could. I stared at him without blinking. And in that stare I poured everything I'd heard. Every plan, every lie, every whispered scheme. Caleb's eyes flicked away first. Day 21, Miss Klein filed emergency paperwork. I didn't understand all the legal language, but I understood the outcome. Caleb's medical authority was suspended pending investigation. My parents were granted temporary decision-making support. And hospital administration flagged my case for possible coercion and abuse. For the first time, official words existed for what Donna had been doing. Abuse. Coercion. Not family conflict. Not miscommunication, the truth. That same day, the NICU nurse brought Evelyn to my room. I wasn't allowed to hold her fully yet, tubes, weakness, risk, but they placed her against my chest for a minute, skin to skin carefully. She was so small, so warm. Her cheek pressed against me like she recognized me anyway. My breath hitched. I tried to speak. Only one word mattered. I rasped. My mother leaned in. "Your baby," she whispered. "She's here. She's here." My tears soaked my gown. Because for weeks they were planning to sell her like an object, and now she was against my heart, where she belonged. Day 22, Mia and Denise provided statements. They documented the hallway conversations. They documented how Donna controlled the visitor list. They documented the party talk, the new mom behavior from Sienna, and it turned out, hospitals do have cameras, not in rooms, but in corridors, at nurses' stations, near elevators, places where Donna thought her words would vanish into air. Day 23, someone made a mistake. Not me, not Mia. Not my parents, Donna. Donna called Caleb while standing near the vending machines. She thought she was alone. She wasn't. A security camera recorded her pacing, and a nearby staff phone station picked up her voice. "I don't care if she's squeezing fingers now," Donna hissed. "You need to fix this." A pause. Caleb speaking on the other end, muffled. Then Donna again, louder. "If she wakes up fully, she ruins everything." Another pause. Then the sentence that turned suspicion into fire. "I told you, we had 30 days. We pull the plug. Then we move on. Pull the plug." Recorded. Time-stamped. Not rumor. Evidence. Day 24, the police got involved quietly. Not with sirens. Not with dramatic arrests in the hallway. With questions. 2 plainclothes officers spoke with Miss Klein and Dr. Harris. They reviewed the camera footage. They interviewed me. They asked about the NICU baby and who had access. And that's when the Atlanta couple came up. Not because Donna admitted it, because Donna made another mistake. She had called them from her phone. And she had discussed timing. The officers traced it. Because modern evil isn't careful enough. It thinks it's untouchable. Day 25, Sienna tried to show up. She arrived carrying a diaper bag like she was the mother. Security stopped her before she reached my door. Sienna's voice trembled. "I'm here for Caleb," she said. "He asked me to," the guard replied. "You're not on the approved list." Sienna looked around, eyes darting like a trapped animal. Then she did something that shocked even me. She tried to push past. Like entitlement could become permission. Denise stepped in. "Ma'am," she warned, "one more step and you'll be removed." Sienna snapped. "Removed? For what? For trying to help?" Then she saw my father standing in the hallway. And for a split second, her face showed the truth. Not grief, not love, greed. Because she wasn't here for me. She wasn't here for the babies. She was here to secure her place. My mother stepped forward. "You're the assistant," she said, voice ice cold. "The one who moved into my daughter's house." Sienna scoffed. "That's not." My mother cut her off. "Don't lie," she said. "We've seen the posts. We've seen the photos. You're not her friend. You're not her family." Sienna's face tightened. She looked toward my room door like she expected Caleb to swoop in and defend her. He didn't. Because Caleb wasn't a protector. He was a coward. Sienna backed away, lips pressed tight, and left without another word. Day 27. My body started returning to me in small pieces. A longer blink. A clearer breath. A few words at a time. Not enough to walk. Not enough to fight physically. But enough to speak the most dangerous thing in any liar's world. The truth. Dr. Harris brought a small whiteboard into my room. A marker. He said, "Lauren, try writing, even if it's messy." My hand shook like a leaf in wind. But I wrote 3 words. "Caleb NICU." My father stared at it. My mother covered her mouth. Mia's eyes flashed. Ms. Klein exhaled slowly like she just crossed from suspicion into certainty. "We'll add it to the record," she said. Day 28. They told me what day it was, how long it had been, how close we were to Donna's deadline. I stared at the calendar like it was a bomb. 2 days left. 2 days until Donna would have tried to make the responsible decision. 2 days until I would have died on paper, even if my mind was awake. That night, Dr. Harris leaned in. "Lauren," he said softly, "I want you to know something. I want you to know something. We're not letting them near your life support. Not without court oversight." I swallowed throat raw, and I forced out a whisper that felt like tearing open a locked door. "They planned it." Dr. Harris's eyes hardened. "I know," he said, "and now we can prove it." Day 29. The night before Donna's 30. The hospital became tense. Not loud, tense. Like everyone knew something was coming. Ms. Klein told my parents to stay nearby. The officers were stationed in the corridor, blending in. Not hiding exactly, waiting. Because people like Donna don't stop. They escalate. And sure enough, at 9:40 p.m., Donna arrived with a folder of papers. Caleb walked beside her, face pale. Sienna trailed behind them, eyes down, silent. They reached the security desk. Donna slapped the folder down. "We're here to finalize life support termination," she said briskly. "We have the forms." The guard didn't move, he replied. "Please wait." Donna's nostrils flared. "I don't wait," she snapped. "Move." That's when Dr. Harris appeared. "Mrs. Hart," he said, "you can't authorize anything. You're not the decision maker." Donna's smile was sharp. "My son is," she said, and turned to Caleb. "Tell him." Caleb swallowed. "Yes," he said weakly, "I'm her husband." Dr. Harris nodded once. Then he said, "Not anymore." Donna blinked. "What?" Miss Klein stepped forward. "Mr. Hart's authority was suspended," she said. "The patient has demonstrated awareness and expressed fear. Her parents are now involved. The court is reviewing." Donna's face twisted. This is ridiculous," she snapped. "She's barely alive." That's when my father stepped into view. "She's more alive than your conscience," he said. Donna's eyes flicked toward my room door. "Let me see her," she demanded. "Right now," Dr. Harris answered. "No." Donna's voice rose. "Let me in," she shouted. "You can't keep a mother from her son's wife." Then the officers stepped forward. One of them spoke calmly. "Mrs. Hart," he said, "we need you to come with us." Donna froze. "Excuse me," she snapped. The officer continued. "We have questions about recorded statements, coercion, and an attempted unlawful transfer of a minor." Donna's eyes widened. Then she did exactly what guilty people do when the walls close in. She tried to pivot. She tried to run the story. "This is a misunderstanding," she said quickly. "My daughter-in-law is sick. My son is grieving. People are twisting my words." Sienna whispered, "Donna." Caleb's hand shook. Donna turned to him. "Say something," she hissed. "Tell them this is insane." Caleb opened his mouth and closed it. Because for the first time, he realized nobody was protecting him. No one was going to clean up his mess. Dr. Harris looked toward my room. Then he did something that ended Donna's world in one motion. He opened the door, and I was sitting up. Not standing, not strong, but upright. Eyes open, awake. Watching. Donna's folder slipped from her fingers. Papers fluttered to the floor like dying birds. Sienna made a sound. Half gasp, half sob. Caleb went completely still, face drained of color. I looked straight at, and with a voice that sounded like sandpaper, but carried more power than any scream, I said, "Hello, Caleb." The hallway went silent. Donna's lips moved, but no sound came out. Caleb took one step forward, then stopped as if invisible chains held him back. "Lauren," he whispered. "How?" I cut him off. "I heard," I said 2 words. But they landed like gunshots. Donna's eyes darted to the officers, then back to me, then to Dr. Harris. "You can't," she began. "She can't," I spoke again, slow and deliberate. "I heard everything." Mia stood behind me, tears on her cheeks. My mother stood beside my bed, one hand on my shoulder like an anchor. My father stepped forward into the doorway. "Tell them," he said softly. "Tell them what you told us." I swallowed, my throat burned. But rage is a kind of fuel. "They planned day 30, I said, forcing each word out. "Pull plug. Tell parents I died." Donna shook her head violently. "No," she whispered. "No, you didn't." I continued, eyes locked on Caleb now. "Sienna moved in," I said. "Party. Baby. Named Paige." Sienna's face crumpled. Caleb whispered, "Lauren, please." "I didn't let him." "And the second baby," I said, voice shaking but rising. Evelyn. Donna said, "Make her disappear." "Money, Atlanta." Donna screamed. "That's a lie," she shrieked. "She's confused." The officer stepped closer. "Ma'am," he said, "we have recordings." Donna's scream turned into a snarl. "You're all against me," she shouted. "After everything I've done for this family." Then she pointed at me, eyes wild. "You should have just stayed dead." Silence. Heavy, final. Because that sentence, raw, unguarded, was the confession. The officer nodded once. "That's enough," he said. He signaled to his partner, and they took Donna's arms. Donna fought, shrieking, "You can't arrest me." Caleb tried to step back, but another officer blocked him. "Mr. Hart," the officer said, "you need to come with us as well." Caleb's face cracked. "For what?" he whispered. The officer replied, "Conspiracy, fraud, coercive control, and attempted unlawful transfer of a minor." Caleb's eyes filled. Whether with fear or regret, it didn't matter. He looked at me. "Lauren," he said, voice breaking. "I didn't. My mom. She." I stared at him, and for the first time I didn't feel love. I didn't even feel heartbreak. I felt clarity. "You let her," I whispered. "You let her bury me." Sienna stepped forward suddenly, sobbing. "I didn't know about the baby part," she cried. "I swear, Donna said you were gone." Caleb said, my father's voice turned razor sharp. "You wore my daughter's life like a costume," he said. "Get away from her." Sienna flinched like he slapped her. The officer looked at her. "Ma'am," he said, "you're coming too. We need a statement." Sienna collapsed into tears. And then, just like that, the hallway that had been their stage became their courtroom. They were led away, Donna screaming, Caleb silent, Sienna shaking. And I watched them go with my hand pressed to my mother's. Evelyn was safe. Paige was safe. My parents were here. And for the first time since I died, I believed I might actually live. Weeks later, I learned the full fallout. Donna's recordings became evidence. The visitor restrictions became evidence. The timeline of calls became evidence. Caleb's signature on paperwork became evidence. The Atlanta couple cooperated once they realized what Donna was asking. And my parents, my real family, became the wall between my babies and the people who tried to treat them like property. The divorce was swift, not because Caleb made it easy. He didn't, but because truth is heavy, and it crushes lies when it finally drops. My recovery was slow. There were days my muscles wouldn't cooperate, days my voice disappeared again, days I woke up shaking hearing Donna's whisper. 30 days. Perfect. But then I would look at my daughters. Paige, who I renamed legally. Her name is Evelyn Rose Hart. And her sister, the first baby. Paige on paper became the name I had always chosen for her in my heart. Amelia Grace Hart. 2 girls, 2 miracles, 2 reasons my body fought its way back from silence. So if you're listening to this and you've ever felt powerless, if you've ever felt like people were writing your story without your permission, remember this: a heartbeat is not consent. Silence is not agreement. And a woman is not dead just because someone benefits from her absence. If this story hit you, tap like. Subscribe to Stories Untold and comment below, where are you watching from? And tell me one thing. What would you have done to Donna if you were in my place?